Hey everyone, what's going on? Ash and Rima here from Odyssey Gaming, and today, as promised in our last video, we're just going to have a very quick discussion about what is going on with Mass Effect Andromeda and the fact that it has been confirmed now that there is no single player DLC coming to the game, and it will just be multiplayer updates going forward until I assume a certain point, and then they'll just stop that as well. And then basically what it means for us as well, because it does bring us some concerns for the channel as well. So I can't remember exactly when it was announced. I know it's within the last week or so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've only spoken a few times in the last couple of weeks because of work and other commitments and things like that. So we heard about it, we tweeted about it, I put up a very quick news video about it, and then that's pretty much all we could kind of muster at the point because we were busy with work and other stuff. So it was when I actually got down to sit down and think about it, it was really disappointing knowing that although it's something we probably knew was coming anyway, there was always something in the back of our minds and hope in our hearts that there would at least be something for like the Quarian arc and stuff like that, but there's not even going to be that for in-game DLC now. Nothing at all.
It's just the idea that there are going to be some story elements we probably won't ever get a resolution to.
Yeah.
And it does mark a point for the franchise that it maybe the I'm losing my voice. It could be marking a point where, you know, this is I know that Sutherland has said that there is a future for Mass Effect and that they're not wanting to shelve the project completely, but yeah, we're probably thinking it's at least gone for a good while, and God knows whether we'll ever actually get to see it come back again. So if this is the way that Mass Effect is going to end, it's a shame. It didn't get to end on the way it should have.
Yeah.
It's just a bit sad. Yeah,
and Patrick Sutherland wasn't the only one. It was Casey Hudson, obviously returning general manager to BioWare, who's also said that he loves Mass Effect too much not to do something with it in the future. But the general consensus there is that if it is going to be a new game for the series, then it likely won't be any time within the next 5 to 10 years. And I think that's a good idea in the sense that they need to look what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda and learn from that. So they need to take time over that, and that's good. What it is unfortunate about it is we're just not going to see a Mass Effect game for a long time now, and that's becoming more and more clear as we go along. And I apologise, but my waveforms are all over the place because I've got a cold coming on. I just realised I sound really nasally now.
You've got a cold and I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, we're not doing very
so
well.
We're doing great.
So it's massively disappointing. It really is, because I was hoping for at least one, and that being like the Quarian arc thing, and it kind of it annoys me a little bit more as well because I put that video up like the week that it got announced to like here's 5 stories that absolutely should have been in Mass Effect Andromeda, and at the end of the video I said, yeah, they'll probably cover it in DLC less than a week later. There's going to be no DLC. Great, thank you, well timed video. So yeah, I can time that better if I tried. But,
I think as hurtful as it is hurtful to the fans to not get to see it conclude. Yeah. But I think what BioWare and EA are doing, they're cutting their losses and they're moving on to try and get Anthem to be what it needs to be to basically keep the studio going. Because Anthem is probably where most of their hopes are hinged on now. Yeah. And I guess if you think about how, poorly Andromeda actually did, then yes, I can see their point. They're just like, you know what, what's the point of putting focus onto a project that wasn't successful? Let's put all our focus into a project that is. And release it to hopefully a lot better, critical response, and hopefully that'll be something that we'll get to see in the final project for Anthem, is a game that's a lot more polished coming out of the gate. And with Casey coming back and him being one of the people that actually helped kind of create Anthem at the beginning, maybe that's a good sign. But yeah. It's really hard to feel happy about Mass Effect just disappearing, but I guess if you have to look at it that way, they are basically putting their focus into the projects that are actually needing focus at the moment. Yeah. And to appease people who have played the game, it's not going to bring anybody else into the game, I don't think, to play Andromeda. So will this not be one of the first BioWare games not to have any DLC attached to it for a long time?
Yeah.
They've had DLC attached to all the other previous Mass Effect games, as well as all the Dragon Age games too. So I was kind of hoping for like an Awakenings kind of idea of like Origins, where it was like a separate DLC altogether, where it developed into the lore of the game, but it didn't completely change the fundamentals of the previous game, and it would have been easier for them to do it that way. But we never got to see anything like that. I thought they would just give us one big DLC at one point. I thought maybe they won't give us like loads of different ones, but they'll give us just one final one.
Yeah.
But I think with Motive kind of taking over, you know, like merging with Montreal and all that kind of thing, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have enough studios for them to commit to doing DLC full time when they have Anthem to go out, and they also have what now is people are rumouring, or I don't know whether it's a rumour or it's just speculation, or
well, I think it's safe to say it's Dragon Age 4, but a lot of people are saying
possibly 5 as well.
But I don't think they'll be able to write 2 full games at the same time. I think that's too much.
If they're putting their bets on Anthem and Dragon Age going into the future, I think, yeah, it's time for maybe Mass Effect to be put aside for a wee bit and let them put out some really good games for the future.
Yeah.
So we get to see Mass Effect in the future, because that's a long game, isn't it?
Yeah.
We want to see a good Mass Effect in the future, and we need the studio up and running for that.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. And that kind of moves us on to the effect it has on not just us, but kind of other people. And we've already seen it in other people who are content creators around us. We've seen people that have basically gone away from their channel and not come back for various reasons, and mainly in part due to the reception of the game as well. And we've also been affected by that. We've got a point, well, it's just a point this week that we realised, thanks to a conversation I had with my older brother, that when he found out about the fact that we know DLC or anything like that, and my brother loves the game as well. This is my brother's first Mass Effect game, and he absolutely loves it. But when my brother texted me and he was just like, what are you guys going to do for the channel? That's like the core of your channel gone. I was like, crap, it is. He's absolutely right. Everything we planned for the channel was always going to have Mass Effect Andromeda at its core, in one way or another, whether it be lore or theories or whatever. But we have nothing now. Like that, the heart and the centre of what was going to be the focus of the channel, no matter what else we decided to do around that was always going to be the core of it, but that's gone. So we don't have a main focus for the channel anymore. And everyone's seen, or the people that watch the videos anyway, everyone's seen that we've been trying to do a bit more coverage on other games here and there. Unfortunately, they've not really had a lot of response to them. It's not saying they've had any good or bad response, they just haven't really had much response at all. So we can't gauge whether people really like it or not. And these videos take a lot of time for us to put together, for writing, recording, editing. We like the editing process, don't get us wrong, we actually really do like the editing process, but it takes us at least 2 to 3 days per video to get it all together.
Yeah, and considering what I work 40 hours a week and how much do you
I work at least 30. So
yeah, so between us we're like working full-time jobs, and to kind of squeeze that in between when we're working is difficult. So we love doing the channel stuff, but it's difficult when we're running out of content to do.
Well, it's not the fact we're running out of content. We're at the point where we've run out of content.
Yeah,
we don't know where to go now.
Yeah.
And that we've always tried to be honest with you guys, and we've always tried to be upfront with everything. You guys have propelled us to a point where we never thought possible when we started this. 2.5 years ago?
Yeah.
Probably over 2.5 years ago now. And to be where we are now, where we've got like 17,000 odd subscribers. I think the highest we ever did for subscribers was maybe about 100 before this project.
Yeah.
So when we hit like 5,000 and 10,000 then 15, it was just like, we don't know what to do. And of course, when the game came out, I had a list of like 50 videos that I wanted to do that were just Andromeda related. And within a week of launch, every single one of those videos we just couldn't do. So we lost... If we were doing like 2 to 3 videos a week, we lost like half a year to 3/4 of a year's worth of content in a week because of the reception and because the videos just weren't going to get any interest on them.
And and honestly, also the game isn't as lore heavy as the trilogy was. So
that was a big one, yeah, because like
yeah, so we lost a lot of lore. Like there was a lot of lore videos we were planning to do, and there is lore we can talk about, but it's not even compared to Mass Effect 1. There's a missing gap to talk about. The writing isn't as strong as the trilogy, so even talking about that, it's quite difficult. It minimizes our ability to do things like theories and things like that, especially now that we don't have other games possibly coming out after this.
Yeah.
Talking about, who are the Ket and all this kind of stuff, there's not enough lore in the game to go on to kind of even discuss that, so...
And things like the Jardin, that came up right at the end of the game. Nobody knows who they are, nobody knows what they're about, and there's literally no information about them in the game. Apart from the fact they get name dropped towards the end of the game. That's it. Well, I'd love to do a little video on that. I think we both would. But there's no information on it, and we're never going to find out about them now. So, and there's other little bits that are exactly the same. All Andromeda is just based on the original lore that's already been set in the universe from the previous 3 games. So, and they've not really built a huge amount on top of that for us to do anything that's going to be meaningful that we can enjoy making and you guys can enjoy viewing. And honestly, that's disappointing because we're now at a crossroads where we either say it's kind of 3 options really. We're at the point of where 1, we just continue making videos for the sake of making videos, which we always said we would never do because it's not enjoyable for us to make videos just for the sake of making them, and it's not enjoyable for you guys because when we're not enjoying making videos, you guys can tell that we're not enjoying making them. So there's no point in doing them. The second option is to just go on to do other stuff, like change the way the channel is. Not in terms of the name or anything like that. We're actually happy with the way the channel looks in terms of the brand and everything like that. But it's changing things to like having a bit more in the way of like us doing some gameplay and stuff like that. Because we have the equipment, we just haven't used it in Christ knows how long, and things like that. So like I was talking about doing some challenge videos every Friday just for a bit of fun, something like that. But then would that really get a good reception? Because other people probably do that on channels all across YouTube. So yeah. The third and the final choice, which is not a choice we like, but it's the choice that seemingly everything is heading towards, is we just stop doing the channel. And if we haven't got any content, then that's kind of the only way to go forward. Yeah,
the choice is made for us, isn't it?
Basically.
At that point.
And we've discussed it probably over the last week or so, that we've tried to find a way around it. We've tried to find a new plan for the channel to try and move forward.
I think we were talking about as well, the YouTube landscape has changed even in the 2 years we started making this channel.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, it was... I mean, everyone's had problems with YouTube over the last couple of years, and rightly so. There was the Apocalypse, which was the first one. And now you got the thing where you can't put things to do with guns or violence or anything like that in your titles or your tags or your thumbnails or anything like that. And I think we had a little joke yesterday. I think yesterday was the first time we've actually played games together for nearly 3 weeks, and that was only for an hour as well, and half the time we were just talking about the fact that it seems YouTube is pushing everything in very much a family-friendly direction. I think you mentioned Disney, like a Disney kind of
I feel like it's turning into like a Disney
and then
channel.
I mentioned it was basically become all Minecraft channels where there's no swearing and everyone's just making content for kids essentially. And I think that's kind of those are 2 very extreme examples, but I think YouTube are trying to head to an area where it's more family friendly and not as controversial. And that's fair play to them. They have to go where the money is, but it makes it a lot harder for smaller content creators to actually try and make a go of it. So, and we put like 2.5 years into this channel, like pretty much all of our spare time into this channel, bar a couple of holidays, I think. Here we are 2.5 years later, and we've kind of reached the crossroads. So we just want to be honest. At this point, I think we're probably just going to see what happens over the next week, see what the reaction to the video is. The video will be going out pretty much straight after we record it. I'm going to edit it straight after and put it straight out. And yeah, that's basically about it, really. I don't really know how to go from there, really. It's really sucky that you have to try and end the video, or like, I suppose a podcast at this point. You're trying to end a podcast by saying, by the way, we might not be coming back. It's a really crappy way to end the videos.
It's been a bit tough. We've had a combination of Andromeda and the YouTube stuff, like our tags and our channel titles and all this kind of like stuff happening together, and it's been a lot. And yeah, it's left us with this decision where, do we continue doing something that might just not be successful? Do we keep continuing doing things that aren't going to get anywhere?
Yeah.
And as much as we love making videos, we also have our lives as well. So
yeah, well, that's it. Exactly. Yeah.
And as much as we've really enjoyed doing the channel, we have to kind of be like realistic with it and figure out whether this is going to be us for the next 2 years again, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be nice to hear what your thoughts are. Would you want to sit and listen to us talk about other things other than Mass Effect Andromeda? Like, and it's not saying that we're not going to talk about Mass Effect if we decide to continue the channel. Like, Mass Effect as a trilogy and even as Andromeda added on, mainly the trilogy is such a big part of our like gaming landscape that we will probably still always talk about it. There will be something to talk about, but it will just not be a weekly video on Mass Effect.
No, it might be like once a month or maybe a bit longer, because we did a lot of videos on the trilogy while we were waiting for Andromeda to come out, and we've done over 250 videos in 2.5 years.
Basically solely on Mass Effect.
Yeah.
So
at some point you kind of run out of stuff. So.
And there's plenty of lore to talk about Mass Effect and things like that, and I don't want to just blow through those again. So if that is something we're going to continue on, there will be Mass Effect videos coming out. It's not going to completely disappear. There are going to be news videos, but again, there's going to be other things in the middle if we continue on, and we don't want those videos to just be things we just put out into the space and there's nothing coming back from anyone about them. So yeah, we're looking for some feedback, guys, and I'm not putting much pressure on you guys, but just, you know.
And just let us know what you think in the comments or on Twitter. We're over there as well, Odyssey Gaming YT. And either myself or Rima. Rima's is Rips1991 and I'm at Sci-Fi Fantasy Guy. Just feel free to let us know and we'll kind of take it from there, really. So thank you very much for listening and for watching. And if you made it this far, 22 minutes in, we thank you. And we'll see you again very soon.